Hello, I'm Joshua Nipper, and welcome to Contractors War Chest YouTube channel. And on today's episode, we are doing a tutorial on the drywall estimating engine. So let's dig into it. All right. So once you open the drywall estimating engine up, you're going to come to this view, this setting, this sheet on this Excel spreadsheet, and it's the disclaimer uh, part. Shows the copyright, and then it gives a couple of disclaimer things about it. And the main reason why I want to show you this is it has, if you have any issues with this spreadsheet, I want to make sure that you know that the email is right here to contact us, contractorswarchest@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us there, and then we will answer your problems or solve any issues that you may have with this estimating engine. So let's go to the next sheet on here. It's called Pricing Index Drywall. So as you can see here, we have a whole list of different types of drywall that you may find out on the job site, or you may need to use on a job site. We have standard drywall, moisture resistant drywall, fire resistant, and soundproof. And I know there are a few other drywall uh, types out there, but for this estimating engine, I did not get into those other ones. These are the most standard ones you'd find in a residential setting. Um, if you would like a different drywall that's not listed here, email me, let me know, and we'll see about getting it added. But um, but let's look at the price per sheet here. So in order for this spreadsheet or for this engine, estimating engine to be accurate for your purpose, for costing your jobs, for pricing your accurately your jobs, then you must at a minimum get the pricing right on these pricing indexes. So drywall standard 4x8 sheet, 3/8 cents thick. I put $11. And I want you to know these are arbitrary numbers that are just put in there. These don't mean, uh, do not buy this spreadsheet and just start estimating jobs because it's not going to be accurate. Drywall cost is different across the United States. So whatever the cost is for your area, that is what you need to be putting in here. And a good habit to get into is not putting the exact price that you're going to pay. So, for example, this first one is $11, right? So let's say the store sells it for $11 even, right? Well, you still have to pay sales tax on it, and I do mark up in the material cost section. It automatically adds a 7% sales tax to that to the overall material cost. So that is already equated into the spreadsheet. However, um, cost fluctuates a lot, and I'm in the fencing business myself, so I know a 2x4 or certain things within the construction community will fluctuate week after week. So you might have a few cent fluctuation all the way up to a 75-cent fluctuation that we see, right um, after post COVID times, you're seeing prices just fluctuate a lot because of supply and demand. So you can alleviate having to update your pricing every time the price changes a few cents by adding a markup. So if your drywall sheet is sold for $11 from, say, Home Depot selling drywall sheet for $11 a sheet, well, you put a percentage markup on it. Say I'm going to charge $12 per sheet. So that's what I'm charging my customer. I'm charging my customer customer $12 per sheet. And what that does is it adds a little buffer in on the overall cost of the job. So if you did underestimate the amount of drywall you needed, that's going to kind of offset that a little bit. So just take that in consideration. And I'm not telling you to mark up prices, and I'm not telling you not to. So every business is different, but it is an option for you when you go in here to, put your pricing in here. Just take that consideration. So uh, the first thing you should do whenever you get this spreadsheet is update your pricing information. Spend a couple hours or even a couple of days going around and finding the right price for all of the materials, specifically the materials that you're going to be using. I know you're going to be using the moisture resistant, the standard drywall quite a bit. And some of these other ones you may not use, but I would still take my time and try to get these prices pretty accurate. Um, so if you go over here, you'll see there's two pricing indexes. And so the first one is essentially just the drywall itself. So if you're a hanger, this is the one that you really want to focus on. The pricing index other is really more geared towards the finisher. So if your mud, your tape, your fiberglass mesh, stuff like that, corner bead, and there's a lot of other stuff out there that you might use that's not listed here. That's why I put miscellaneous items. You can go ahead and whatever you type in here will automatically populate on that engine estimating engine side. So just note that the changes has to happen on the index side, not on the estimating engine side when you're talking a title for something or a name, a line item. Now the cost, you can update the cost here for whatever. So let's move over here to the estimating engine. Okay, so this estimating engine basically will calculate the amount of drywall you need for for whatever job that you're estimating. Okay, so let's say that you're doing a new construction home and the general contractor reaches out to you and says, "Hey, I want to bid on this house I'm building," and then either you have them send you the plans, the blueprints, or you go to the house and do it, old school way. Either way is fine, however, whatever you're comfortable with, but you can do it by the blueprints with the spreadsheet, and it's simple. It's labeled room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4 on down. Okay, so if you have, it goes all the way down to 35 rooms. So if you're over 35 rooms total for that house, uh, I would probably say that uh, I mean, you're that's a pretty big house. So either you can adjust the numbers on a couple of your rooms here to calculate the amount of drywall you'll need, or you can break the house up in like a section. So like floor 1 is X amount, and then figure it up that way, and then and do a separate one for floor 2. But there's different ways you can go about it, but just take that consideration. So, so right here, room 1, I would always assume that you would start with the biggest room first, being room 1. So like the living room. So you go in here, and so we'll have wall 1, wall 2, wall 3, wall 4, and ceiling. A lot of rooms don't have a wall 4, but some rooms will, depending on the type of room it is. But um, so just take that in consideration whenever you're doing this. So your wall length 30, and you can get this off the blueprint, but we'll just say the first room is 30 feet in length by 9 feet high. And it gives you a total square footage of 270 square feet. And you have one opening, 32 square feet. Now, where did I get that 32 square feet? Well, let's just say there's a opening in it. Where's it at here? Opening square feet. Let's just say I'm going to change that. 20. So let's say we got a window here, 24-inch by 36-inch window. That shouldn't say 32. It should say 6. Should have a 6 square foot opening in here. So net area is 264 square feet is the total area you need to drywall. And drywall sheet size. So let's say we wanted to use a 4 foot by 10 foot sheet. So the square foot for that sheet is 40. So let's go up here and change this to 40. Okay, and let's look at our next wall. Our next wall, wall 2, is 15 feet length by 10 feet high. Total square footage of 150 square feet. And we have a opening in it, which is a standard door, which is 17.78 square feet. So all you got to do is put this number that I have listed here, right here in this box. And then it'll give you your net area that you have to drywall at 132.22 square feet. All right. So let's change the sheet size to 40. And it automatically calculate the sheets needed over here. So wall 3, 15 by 10, 150. We've got no openings. So we'll change that to 40. Okay. So total sheets needed for uh, for your walls is 15. Now we got our ceiling to do. So our ceiling's 30 by 15. Okay. Which I know this probably is not accurate with the other walls. I'm just doing this as an example, 30 by 15. So total area is 450 square feet. We have no openings. And the net area is still 450. And we want to use a 40. We want to use a 40 square foot sheet of drywall, which is your 4 by 10 sheet of drywall. Okay. So according to this, you need 12 sheets of drywall for our ceiling. Okay. So the total of drywall we need is 27 sheets of drywall. Okay. So that's what this estimating engine does on this tab is it calculates your material. Okay. Now let's go to the job calculator. And once you come over here, don't let all these colors scare you. It is super easy, simple process for you to understand here. And we're going to take it step by step here. So up here in the where it says 4 by 8 sheet, so we know that we changed that 4 by 8, and this is more for our visual because it automatically calculated it once we changed it on the estimating engine side. But we know we used a 4 by 10 sheet of drywall for the walls and the ceiling, so we're going to go ahead and change that there. Okay. And our thickness, we wanted to use a 1/2 inch thick on the walls, but we can change it if we want. If we wanted to change it to 5/8, we could do that. Or go back to 1/2 inch. Let's just go back to 1/2 inch for our wall. So our standard drywall is 15 sheets. Now, let's say that uh, that room needed to be uh, a moisture resistant drywall. Let's say that was like a huge size bathroom, and everything in there needed to be moisture resistant. So what we do here, we go over here to the moisture resistant one and we type in the same number that we have here, 15. Okay. Once we do that, you see it changed. Now standard drywall is 0, moisture drywall is 15. Okay. It automatically calculates the price based on our pricing index sheet. Okay, so $255 in material costs so far. Now we go down here below here. This one right here is our ceiling. Okay, so we want to use a 5/8 on our ceiling, but we still need to have a moisture resistant. So what we're going to do is we're going to type 12 because that's the number over here. And we're going to change that, and it's going to calculate to $192. So, and it's the same concept with these other ones. Okay, so as you move down, if you want it fire resistant or soundproof, you just change the number. Oh, and it's very important here. I forgot earlier to tell you guys that anything in yellow is a direct input cell for you guys. So it's either a drop down menu or a direct input where you can change the number yourself and it will calculate based on the number you put in there. But all these direct input cells are calculated with either with some of the information coming from the engine side and some of the information coming from the pricing index. All right, so let's move down here. So now that we figured that cost out, so I'll say, so our walls are $255 and our ceilings $192. Okay, so our total material cost for this is if look right here, drywall hanger job cost. This is for hanging the drywall. Okay, um, our total material cost is $542. Now, um, this calculates, double clicked on it. This right here, 1,000 pack, that's your screws, that your drywall screws. And this calculates how many screws you will need based on the square footage of drywall. So it automatically tells you what you're gonna need. So it automatically inputs that $60 into the material cost to cover your screws. So the more drywall you add to this, the more quantity and pricing you'll see increase for your screws. Okay. All right. So let's go over here to the and also too, if you have a special project, I know this ain't yellow here below, but you can change. Uh, you can add like if you want to add some extra money just to be on the safe side for this job, you can say, hey, I want to add an extra $150 because there's a area that might need a some scaffolding that I might have to rent or whatnot. So go ahead and you can put that there in that cost and it automatically update, your material cost. So just note that that is there for you as well to add additional material cost onto that might not be listed in the pricing index. All right, so let's move on to the labor cost. So you should have a little bit of a understanding on what it might take to do this job and how many hours it might take. So if you go and use my hourly burden calculator, uh, that will automatically calculate how much you should be charging per hour for your company, then you can take what that spreadsheet is showing you for your hourly rate, and if say this job is going to take you say 24 hours, you take the hourly rate times 24, and that's the number you put here in this right here. So for this case, we're just going to say it's going to take us it's going to take us $900 labor for this job. Okay, so we'll just change that $900. Overhead, say, and so overhead, you're probably wondering where do I find my overhead cost at? Well, if you go get my overhead calculator, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to be charging for your indirect cost for each job for your overhead. So basically, the spreadsheet will break down all of your indirect costs, and you put in there your average jobs per month, and it's going to tell you exactly what your job overhead cost should be. So we'll just go ahead and say our job overhead cost is $420. So we go ahead and change that to 420. Automatically updates the total. So net profit desired. So net profit desired is basically what you want to make after everything's paid. You paid material, you paid labor, you paid overhead. Now this is what's left over for your profit. That is net profit. What do you want to make off this job? So, and every industry is different, so you need to try to figure out your industry standard so you can remain competitive. But you can change this number to whatever you want. If you want to make 25% net profit, then you change it 25%, automatically updates it. So it updates your total cost. So your total cost of job at 25% net profit is $2,328. Okay. And again, this is a little disclaimer out there. These prices that are in here are not accurate pricing, so don't blow me up in the comments saying that I'm way off on this estimate. This is not an accurate estimate. I would never present this to a customer uh, because I did not take the time to research accurate pricing because it is different across the United States. So it is your job as the contractor in your industry to put in the proper, accurate pricing so you get accurate results, accurate total cost of jobs from the spreadsheet. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So what this also does is also gives you a total square feet. 996 total square feet is what you're drywalling. So your per square foot cost is $2.34 per square foot for hanging drywall. Okay, so and you can adjust those numbers to make that per square foot cost go up or down, but but it is there for you to mess around with and you to get accurate for your business. All right, so let's go down here to the drywall finisher job cost. So what basically this takes the total square foot of 996, and that's what it bases all these other numbers off of. So if you're finishing drywall, I know there's levels of finishes that you can do. So depending on the level, so if you want to do a level 5 finish, it's automatically going to update the amount of mud needed and material. Um, so if you just want to do like a level 3 finish, then it'll calculate the the amount of mud needed. Now, the disclaimer with the mud is there is a waste factor that is factored into this estimating engine for the mudding process. After talking to a few different drywallers in the industry out there, is the mud usage for a lot of these drywallers is all over the place. So some contractors will use a little bit of mud and don't even hardly need to sand. Other contractors use a lot of mud and sand and sand and sand. So just take that in consideration that if you're a contractor, a drywall finisher, if you will, that uses a lot of mud because you sand a lot, then just note that you might need to add another gallon of mud onto this. The waste factor here was the industry average. So everything here is the industry average. So if you if you bid a job with this estimating engine and you find that you're a little short on mud, then the next time you might say, well, instead of doing this at a level 3 finish, I'll do it at a level 4 finish, and then it'll up my mud But you can play around with it and figure out, what what you where is best fit for your company. But um, you can go here and add different items here, as in the amount of different items. Corner bead, you can change that. It's going to automatically update the pricing. Um, but the same concept flows down here. Your per square foot cost is $2.72. Your material cost is $167. Labor cost $1,600. Now you can change these to fit your company. Overhead cost 400, net profit. So if you want 20% net profit, or let's say you want 30% net profit, $650. Your total cost of the job is 2817. Um, but you can play around with this, and you once you it'll take you a couple of estimates to kind of get comfortable with this and you know figure out exactly how you want to utilize this engine. But it is a great tool to have. It really speeds up the estimating process, especially if you're doing multiple uh, leads a day, where you might have a couple of crews out there doing your jobs for you, and you're running around doing these estimates for you for people. This would really uh, streamline the process. So there you have it. That is the drywall estimating uh, job calculator, if you will, for drywall. So if you want any of the financial spreadsheets that I was referring to, the hourly burden spreadsheet, the um, monthly overhead cost worksheet or calculator, and then I also have a break even point calculator, which will tell you how what you need to break even as far as how many jobs you need in a month, what your total break even amount is, so you know where your numbers are and you're confident in saying, okay, I need uh, in order to get 10 jobs a month, I need, based on your conversion rate, I need, 24 leads in 1 month. The spreadsheet will show you that. The spreadsheet will tell you exactly, what you need in order to be successful. So I will link all those spreadsheets down below, so you know uh, how to find those. And also, if you want any more of these estimating engines, or if you want to buy this estimating engine, then go to contractorswarchest.com and find the estimating engine that you want and purchase it there. And before I go, I just want to thank you for watching this video, and also to ask you to like and subscribe, hit notification button, because I'll be putting out new content every couple of weeks. So until next time.